Welcome to When Creativity Knocks All-Star Designers Spring Series.
We're mashing it up again. Love these mashups. Today is an egg extravaganza.
So what I did with my eggs was, on this particular egg, I actually took the AdTech dot glue runner and I ran that around this smooth foam egg. And then I used some glass beads to kind of decorate the egg in all these cute little stripes. But the thing that was really fun about it was I used the smooth foam cupcakes. See, there's a little half of a cupcake here. And I dyed the cupcake holder with some Rit dye, and I used a little bit of tissue paper that I colored. I actually painted it with some mica gloss and then just cut it with the little scissors here to create this grass effect so that the egg has a place to sit on. So that was how this one turned out, and it turned out really cute. The second egg that I did, I couldn't stop there. I thought it'd be really fun to have a egg holder, and what I did was I used the Rit dye and I tinted some white paper with the brown dye, and then I stamped and I embossed it with this border stamp, so that creates this really, really pretty border, and I embossed it with gold embossing powder. Then I took this cute little bunny stamp and I stamped this bunny, cut him out, and that creates the little holder for my egg. Then couldn't just have a plain white egg. I used that same lime green mica gloss to paint this smooth foam egg so that I've got this cute little table decoration.
Today we're going to make this super cute Easter goodies jar. It's so fast and simple. All you need is a smooth foam half egg, some fabric washi tape, and a jam jar of your choice. Any kind of mason jar will do, just depending on how much candy you want to give somebody. First, you want to cut out just a decorative piece of scrapbook paper, whatever might match your washi tape. Cut it to the size of the lid. Decorate your smooth foam half egg with some tape, some of the washi tape. Put some washi tape around the edge of your lid. Glue your egg onto your lid. Fill with your favorite candy and give it as an Easter gift.
For my egg project, I decided to create a little trinket box that sits in a little nest. I started with a smooth foam panoramic egg, and I'm going to share a little tip that I use when working with the smooth foam that has seams like this. Sometimes they extend a little bit. I'll just use either an emery board or a little piece of sandpaper, and if you sand that down, you get a good smooth edge and it doesn't affect your painted surface. So these eggs have this opening, which just to me said, put something in me. To decorate the egg, I started with my DecoArt Americana chalky paint and painted the entire thing inside and out and let it dry. And then I took some of the brown Americana paint and a toothbrush and just kind of speckled it. So to create the lid for our little trinket box, I took a piece of chipboard and I took my smooth foam egg and I went ahead and traced around that flat part and just cut it out. I used some dyed fabric. I used some muslin, and I discovered that if you dye it with the royal blue Rit dye, it comes out, it's a perfect match for the colored chalky paint that I used. I used this cute little Judikins bird stamp, and I went ahead with some brown ink and I stamped that bird onto the center of that piece of fabric. And then I literally hot glued, cut it down a little bit obviously, and I pulled the edges over and I applied hot glue to hold it in place. When I got almost done, I stuffed it with a little bit of cotton to give it this dimensional puffy feel. It would also be a great pin cushion. And then I cut another piece of that dyed fabric, which I placed inside to cover the areas that I had glued down. There's a folded strip of the same dyed fabric that makes our hinge, which is glued inside the egg. And then I wanted to add a little way to lift the lid and a little bit more of a decorative bling. And I went to these great Hallcraft beads, which I hot glued around the outside edge of that cover. And I used one of these silver beads on a little dangler made with some more of the gemstone beads to be a little lifter. And I love how these are almost egg-shaped too, and they're still kind of rustic and fit in. Well, then I had my little box, but I needed some kind of legs or something to put it on. So I decided to make a nest. And to do that, I dyed some just cotton fabric. It was an old sheet I love to repurpose, with a couple of shades of brown Rit dye, and then I just tore it into strips so that the edges are good and rough. To make our nest kind of stiff enough to hold, I took those pieces of dyed fabric, kind of formed them into the form that I wanted, and then I placed it down into the middle of like a cereal bowl to kind of hold it in place. And I actually used the DecoArt Americana fabric stiffener. I saturated the whole nest really well and let it start to dry, and then I flipped the bowl over and pulled it out and let it dry the rest of the way. And it gives you, it's not perfectly stiff, but it is stiff enough to serve as a little holder for our trinket box. It's a cute little decorative way for your dresser to hold some tiny treasures, or I think it would make a great little gift box for something special. It's extra special.
For my Easter egg project, I made, where is it? Oh, I'm wearing it. I made this Easter egg bow tie. What I did was I had these two foam eggs and this little one, and I thought that the little one looked just like the knot of a bow tie. So that's where it came upon me to make a bow tie out of this. So I just decorated the eggs with some craft attitude printable film that I adhered with some spray adhesive. So that's how I decorated this and our little bunny friends bow tie here. And then I attached the three sections with some pins, but also to reinforce it, I just hot glued the ends together to give it some support so it doesn't really move around. And then to the back, let me borrow this, my little friend. To the back, I just hot glued some ribbon to hold it, and I made the ribbon long enough so that you could tie it to your neck. Also, ladies, you can use it as like a little headpiece as well. So this bow tie is just perfect for like an Easter egg hunt that you're going to or any Easter celebration. So make it work.
These lovely vases were going to make it into the trash. Before that happened, I decided to turn them in something fun to fill with Easter eggs. And I used Etch-All on the jar. And as you can see, I use the design, they have these really great designer tips where you can write. So I just free wrote eggs in a couple spots. I just had a lot of fun. I used the etch mask, and I cut out, and I actually have it on this one so you can see it a little better. I cut because I wanted it to look like lawn at the bottom. So I just cut these out, you smooth it on. Here's some little free-form butterflies I made. Here's some actually stencils. And I put these stencils on too, covered them with the Etch-All, followed the manufacturer's directions. When I washed it off, voila, this is what it came out to. Isn't this fun? Look at the butterflies. You can see the grass here along the edge. And then not to forget, taking our smooth foam and a little bit of the Americana Decor, their new chalky finish, I colored all my eggs. So now these are ready for a centerpiece or just to have fun for the holiday. I wanted to do one more thing with the panoramic smooth foam eggs. And I remember these from our childhood when you actually had the sugar eggs. And so I did the same thing I did with the last project, painted. And on this one, I painted just a cream color on the outside. On the inside, I used this light lavender. Then I went ahead and used the glue and the glitter again. And once they were dry, then I went ahead and got ready to do the decorations on the outside. Now to do the decorating on the outside, which all these looks like frosting, doesn't it? I used the little make-ins. They have this great little template here that are push molds, and you could just put your clay. Now these clays I actually dyed myself. Cindi told me how to do this, and it's amazing. Use the white clay, and you just add some acrylic paint into it. Warning, use rubber gloves because it's very messy. And you just keep kneading it in until you get your color. So that's how I got all these great colors here on my eggs. So I wanted to put my charm inside of my egg. So you take the panoramic egg. Let me see if I can show you. You're going to shove a skewer in, and you're going to do it as an angle. So about 1/4 inch from the back wall. And you're going to bring that skewer right up to the top. You can twist it a little bit and pull it out. That will give you the hole to hang your wire in. So now I simply took some charms, and they have these great little charms that you put photos in. So I just reduced the pictures, used the inside template that comes with the picture of their kids, and traced it right over the top of my photos. Went ahead and inserted them, added some beads and more charms. And then you just simply insert right into the hole here, like that. And then you can add another bead to the top. And then you're going to just make a little wire loop. Now what I did with going back to the little Makin's push mold, I made all the different little pieces. And if you do wet the mold after you push the little clay out, if you dampen it a little bit, you can mold it right onto the edge and it will dry that way. But be sure that you have some glue that in case some of them pop off. And if you look at this one nice and close, I literally took some pins and put them through some beads right through the center, and that even secured the clay on better. I really hope you enjoyed my panoramic eggs.
Now that was an exciting array of projects.
Oh my goodness. Well, mashing it up has really gotten to her, but I loved everybody's projects.
Really clever ideas.
Great ideas with the eggs. Please like us on Facebook and pin us on Pinterest.
Follow us on Twitter, and now find us on Instagram too. And go to the homepage of our website, sign up for our weekly newsletter, and you'll be eligible to win one of our weekly prize boxes full of products from our sponsors.
And always tune in to When Creativity Knocks for some really great episodes.